We are live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV 125 on all social media platforms and the JoyNews podcast. My name is Carlos Caloni. Our headlines this hour: President Akufo-Addo optimistic of better days ahead as he concedes we have endured difficult economic conditions in the past few years. We have details as he hints of two strategic projects which will turn the fortunes of the economy.
Fellow Ghanaians, I know that we have gone through difficult economic circumstances, but it is clear that we have overcome the worst and we are looking forward to better times.
Also, armed military men blocked NDC MPs led by Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa from accessing National Cathedral site on the day government promised it would commission the facility, which is still at the foundation level.
We know for a fact that for 2 years now, there is no work going on this site. It's an abandoned project. So why are you claiming that there is some construction going on there?
We have details plus the NDC MP's symbolic commission of the facility. Sports and business will come later. Thank you so much for choosing us. Let's begin from the presidency, where President Akufo-Addo has charged the Ghanaians to preserve the hard-fought 31 years of stable democracy, even though not perfect. Acknowledging imperfection, he highlighted a consistent improvement seen in each election during the Fourth Republic. The president emphasized the need for continuous learning and increased tolerance for differing opinions, cautioning against any regression. He pointed to the risks faced by countries that experience chaos due to disputed elections. He was speaking at the 67th Independence Day celebration held in the Eastern region.
My dear compatriots, fellow Ghanaians, the theme chosen for this year's Independence Day celebrations is our democracy, our pride. And I welcome all of you to Akufo-Addo, the capital of the Eastern region, which is hosting the celebrations this year. The decision to rotate the scene of the national celebrations around the country, instead of staging them only in Accra, the nation's capital, has certainly turned out to be a welcome nation-building exercise that helps us to focus attention on a different region every year, and at the same time rallies the nation together in that region. Our host this year, the Eastern region, was very much at the center of the independence struggle of our country. It is home to 3 members of the Big Six of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC of blessed memory. I've mentioned specific groups that make up the Eastern region, but as I stated earlier, it is a region where the whole of Ghana merges into a melting pot and lives in harmony, and different groups feed on the strength of each other for the good of the whole. This is the same scenario that is played on the national scene, where different people have come together to form the Ghanaian nation and a national identity for the past 67 years. Fellow Ghanaians, we have good reason to choose as our theme and to celebrate our democracy, our pride, at this 67th anniversary of our independence. We are a democratic nation, and not every country can make such a claim. It is important to note that the democratic system of government we have today was not given to us at independence. More than 100 years of British rule have not prepared us in any way for democracy. There is nothing democratic about colonial rule, and whatever we have today, we have worked out for ourselves. All the defining elements of a democracy that are part of our governance architecture today, we've had to fabricate ourselves. Everything we know about elections today, and we know quite a bit, we have learned through hard practice, and in the past 31 years, we have been stable. We've not got a perfect system, But every time we've had elections during this Fourth Republic, it has been an improvement on the previous occasion. We have still a lot more to learn, especially when it comes to the tolerance of opposing views.
President Akufo-Addo also lauded his government's free SHS policy, which he says will help to lay the foundation for a brighter future for the country.
The greatest challenge remains the provision of good quality education to all of Ghana's children and young people. We have a lot to be proud of, but we have more work to do. I'm happy through the implementation of the free senior high school policy, we're removing financial barriers to education, unlocking the potential of thousands of young Ghanaians, and laying the foundation for a brighter future for our country. This year, we have seen the highest ever enrollment of first-year students into senior high school in our nation's history. That is the figure of 503,000 students, a clear indication of the widespread embrace of the free senior high school policy. We should be able to offer every Ghanaian child the best education there can be. And having completed high school, our children should be equipped with skills that make them prepared to face the modern world. Our schools must prepare our children to be comfortable with science and technology, engineering and mathematics, and ready to compete in the modern economy. Fellow Ghanaians, there's more to preparing a child to face the world than what can be taught in a classroom. And there's certainly more to molding a Ghanaian child than what our hard-working teachers do every day.
On the economy, President Akufo-Addo is optimistic Ghana is on the brink of a breakthrough as the worst challenges are now in the past.
Fellow Ghanaians, I know that we have gone through difficult economic circumstances, but it is clear that we have overcome the worst and we are looking forward to better times. I wish to make reference in particular to two projects coming on stream that should make a great difference to the economic fortunes of our country. I refer to the successful selection of strategic partners that will work with the Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation, GIADEC, to build a new alumina refinery and develop mines at Nyinahini in Pasaso as 3 or 4 projects being executed under the Integrated Aluminum Industry IAI projects. I've witnessed the signing of 2 agreements in Accra recently. Firstly, between GIADEC, a wholly owned public entity, and Rockshore International, a wholly owned Ghanaian private company. Selected after a rigorous process as a strategic partner to develop a mine at Nyinahini in Pasaso. The other major project that is coming on stream, which is bound to make a dramatic change to the economy, is the Adar Songor Salt Project, being spearheaded by Electrochem Salt Mine Limited, led by the dynamic Ghanaian entrepreneur, Mr. Dan McCaughey, aka McDan. After many years of disputes which prevented the exploitation of salt at the site, work has finally started, and salt will be mined on a large commercial scale. The Electrical Salt Mine will be the biggest salt-producing facility in the whole of Africa. These are figures that should spell a significant change in the economy and cheer us up. I am optimistic that together with other initiatives of this government, we are on the verge of a breakthrough in our economic fortunes.
Now in the Upper West region, the 4th time in 5 years, the Independence Parade was held outside the regional capital. The event took place at Laura, had 8 contingents of security personnel, 35 basic, second cycle and tertiary institutions, and voluntary organizations taking part in the march past. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Salih stated that though the Electoral Commission has the responsibility to ensure a credible election, political parties must also understand that elections are not do or die affair. JoyNews' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam report from Wa.
A contingent of security personnel drawn from the Ghana Armed Forces 10 Mechanized Battalion, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Prison Service, Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana Immigration Service, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority took part in the 67th Upper West Regional Parade held at Laura. They were joined in the 2-hour march past by 14 primary, 17 junior high, and 3 senior high schools. Also included on the list were 1 tertiary institution and some voluntary organizations under the instruction of Parade Commanding Officer Susi Atabans.
The parade QIC will be handing over the parade shortly. The parade
The number of participating schools and time for the event was reduced following reports of suspected cases of cerebrospinal meningitis (CSM) in the region. The region, in the past couple of months, had recorded 81 suspected cases of the disease and claimed 4 lives. The 35 basic, senior high schools, and tertiary institutions and the voluntary organization kick-started the march past, starting with the primary schools. The 10 Mechanized Battalion led the way when it came to the 10 of the security contingents, starting with slow marching and followed by the other sister security services. They then moved into a high gear, quickening the pace of their movement and into quick march.
And lastly, the number 8 contingent.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Salih, in his address, paid glowing tribute to the founding fathers of the country and those who were involved in the country's fight for independence. Dr. bin Salih noted that in recent past, the West African sub-region has been under the threat of terrorism and violent extremism and tied it with the numerous chieftaincy and land disputes around the country.
West Africa has been under the threat of terrorism and violent extremism, rapidly spreading from the Sahel towards the borders. Many of our neighbors, notably Burkina Faso, have already fallen victim to attacks by these extremist groups. Internally, we have so many chieftaincy and land disputes around the country, serving as potential breeding grounds for internal tension and destabilization. We have had our share of political instability and experimentation about how we should govern ourselves. In the end, we opted for multi-party democracy under the 1992 Constitution. Even though it is not a perfect document, it has, this far, served us well, and we have witnessed the most sustained period of stability and economic growth in our country's history.
Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where the regional minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, has bemoaned the possible surge in activities of vigilantism as the general elections draws near. According to him, such activities have often threatened the peace and democracy of the country. Osei-Mensah wants politicians who are mostly culpable in deployment of vigilantes to be agents of peace in the election year. He spoke during the 67th Independence Day celebration in Kumasi. My colleague Nana Yojima has more in the following report.
Contingents for the 67th anniversary celebration in the Ashanti region was led by personnel from all security agencies, with students and some professional bodies participating in the ceremony. The contingent displayed their marching skills to the admiration of all. Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah expressed worry over possible surge in vigilantism activities in the election year.
For some time now in our history,
It has been a challenge for us and always reach a peak when elections are drawing near. These activities culminate in the loss of lives, properties, and other resources which could never be restored. We can do without vigilantism if we preach peace. It is my anticipation that all stakeholders will utilize this celebration and the period of the Ghana month of March to promote the values of Ghana that ensure peace, harmony, patriotism, and discipline in all the dynamics of our national life.
Mr. Osei-Mensah further called for support of the citizenry in ensuring peace in the region.
Let us support the security agencies in maintaining peace in the region, for the issue of security management is a shared responsibility. Considering the security turbulence in the West African sub-regions, it is incumbent on us all to take the security slogan, see something, say something seriously.
He indicated investment in the youth remains the best way of mobilizing for the country's development.
It is in this regard that great support has been given to technical and vocational education and training, TVET. The focus of TVET is to address the skills gap by providing students with the practical, relevant skills and training they need to succeed in specific careers. Let me reiterate that through TVET, our youth are provided with the skills that make them employable, enhance their livelihoods, and create wealth. It is therefore laudable that government since 2017 has embarked on a massive drive to increase access to TVET education across the country to complement the free senior high school education system. Distinguished invited guests, again, considerable attention is being shifted to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education.
For JoyNews, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
Let's come to Accra, where tonight heavily armed military men and other security officers prevented NDC MPs, led by the Northern MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, from accessing the site of the National Cathedral. The MPs were on a tour to the site, which has been abandoned for months, despite government having hoped it could commission the facility today. The military men blocked the MPs, leading to a confrontation with the MPs bent on continuing on the attempt to enter the site. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Ashanti reports.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta promised in 2021, right here in Parliament, that the National Cathedral project will be commissioned on the 6th of March 2024. Today is the 6th of March, and the National Cathedral is still at the foundation level. NDC MPs, led by Northern MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who has been on a crusade against the National Cathedral, today went to the site of the cathedral to do what they called a symbolic commissioning. But when they got there, they will not be allowed in by a group of security men and women led by a military man who said they had instructions not to allow the MPs. There was confusion, there was a confrontation, there was a melee, and the MPs still said they wanted to go through.
You know that there is no construction going on. We know for a fact that for 2 years now, there is no work going on this site. It's an abandoned project. So why are you claiming that there is some construction going on there? Yeah, you hold on. Don't hit anybody. No, but why did you hit him? I know. Hold on a second. Sammy, hold on. Construction site. Don't stop us from now. Don't stop us. No. You can't even tell us who is in charge. Please. Hold on a second. We are being reasonable. We just want to engage the media at the entrance. That's all. We won't go inside. Yes. Let's all respect ourselves. We are doing it at the entrance. No. What is up?
After some back and forth, the MPs decided that they will stand right in front of the new Electoral Commission head office at Ridge, which is just adjacent the National Cathedral, and start their news conference. After some back and forth, the MPs decided that they will stand right in front of the new Electoral Commission head office at Ridge, which is just adjacent the National Cathedral, and start their news conference. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa made a number of demands, key of them including that the government should abolish the National Cathedral Secretariat. The governing board, led by the chairman, the former chairman of the Church of Pentecost, should also be dissolved.
I know on Independence Day today, of what we have demonstrated for accountability. More than in this our taxes, and we have every right, particularly on the day the president told us in Parliament and assured the country and the Almighty that this project, valued at $450 million, will be commissioned. So we have every right. If 2 years on the project has been abandoned, we have every right to come and demand accountability. And we begin by quoting Malachi 3:8a. Will a man rob God?
No.
Yet ye have robbed me. So says the word of God.
Blessed be his word.
Demand number one. We are demanding an explanation from President Akufo-Addo on why he failed to fulfill his promise to God, to Parliament, and to the sovereign Ghanaian people. The promise to commission his $450 million, that is 5.7 billion Ghana cedis, priority of priorities, Cathedral, today, the 6th of March 2024. We demand an explanation. Demand number two, we are demanding full accountability on what happened to our 58,141,509 United States dollars and 52 cents. So $58.1 million. That is, at current exchange rate, 740 million Ghana cedis. We are also demanding that they account fully for their infamous United States of America operations. They have never accounted to us how much they have raised from the United States of America. Demand number 12. We are calling on all the prosecutorial institutions to immediately commence the prosecution of all those who have caused this gross financial loss to the state.
The NDC MPs are calling for a national dialogue to decide on what exactly to do with the National Cathedral site. It is still what they call the most expensive man-made pit in the world.
We call for a national debate leading to a possible national consensus on what should happen to the world's most expensive pit.
The NDC MPs are now back in Parliament right here on this ground, and they say they are going to start a series of action to demand accountability, to demand prosecution, to demand that what they call the wanton dissipation of public funds stops. They say so much money has been sunk into the National Cathedral project, millions of dollars, translating into so many hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis, but the project is still yet really to take off, and they are demanding answers.
In the name of Akufo-Addo, Mahmoud Bawumia, and Ken Ofori-Atta, we commission this expensive hole in the world.
Amen. Reporting for JoyNews, Ashanti, Parliament House, and the site of the National Cathedral, all here in Accra.
Now, some supporters of the National Democratic Congress in the Ashanti region say the possible choice of Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman as running mate to John Mahama limit their chances of victory in the 2024 election. According to them, her candidature did not improve the NDC's fortunes in the 2020 elections. They believe the choice of running mate must wield some influence to win votes for the NDC in the upcoming election. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The press conference was largely patronized by traders at the Kumasi Central Market who were clad in red to signify what they describe as economic hardship. To them, there is need for the return of the NDC with John Mahama as leader, but the group is kicking against the possible nomination of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as running mate, claiming she failed to attain the needed numbers for the party in 2020. Despite the wide circulation the former running mate will be maintained, the group wants the NDC to reconsider the decision of settling on Professor Opoku-Agyeman. She says, "We used to bow for women, but now we are rooting for the men. We at the Central Market are dying." In 2020, we lost the election. Even Central Region, we didn't perform well. If we can win election, Ashanti Region is very important. They are proposing former Finance Minister Dr. Akufo-Addo be chosen for the role. A member of the group, Frank Baswa, believes the former Finance Minister holds the potential to break the NPP's dominance in the Ashanti region. Professor Opoku-Agyeman can't point to any intervention at the Education Ministry. For nothing at all, the NPP can boast of free SHS. Under Dr. Akufo-Addo as Finance Minister, there was a stable economy. Ashanti region saw a lot of development. Dr. Dufo is best fit for the role. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Now, about 15.2% of female adolescent population of Ghana are either pregnant now or have been pregnant before. The prevalence within the age range is almost 1/5 of the global prevalence. Now, the regional disparities are striking, with teenage pregnancy rates ranging from 6% in Greater Accra region to 26% in the Savannah region.
The alarming prevalence of teenage motherhood recorded a decline from 19% to 11% since 1988. This was reviewed at a zonal dissemination of Ghana 2022 Demographic and Health Survey. These statistics highlight a complex landscape of adolescent pregnancy and motherhood with significant regional variations. The Ashanti region is the second highest with 24% of adolescent pregnancies. The dissemination of the 2022 Demographic and Health Survey assembled health experts, district and assembly health executives to discuss the implications of the health survey numbers. Sarah Wood is the head of the social statistics section at the Ghana Statistical Service.
For the teenage pregnancy for women aged 15 to 19 years, we realize that for Ashanti region is 24%. And even for the other regions too, it's not the best. That within that age period, we should be having women, young women being pregnant or giving birth. So it's something that is worrying that policymakers will have to do something about.
The Ghana 2022 Demographic and Health Survey is a population-level survey designed to monitor and assess progress in the utilization and management of healthcare services across all 16 regions of the country. The 5-week dissemination exercise focused on data generated from 15 target areas including child health, malaria, infant and child mortality, HIV/AIDS and health insurance. Other exploits include marriage and sexuality, fertility, family planning, household water and sanitation, women's empowerment, domestic violence and agency, consent and cohesion. Director of Regional Offices of the Ghana Statistical Service, Emmanuel George Osei, says the report will provide a vital source of information for the Ministry of Health, enabling the measurement of outcome and impact of health programs.
The Ghana Health Service and the ministry uses our demographic and health survey report a lot. After that one, I can attest to that. They use it a lot to guide them in their policy formulation and then evaluations regarding health issues in the country. So it is one document that the Ghana Health Service and then the ministry uses a lot for policy evaluations.
Thank you very much. Reporting for JoyNews, Clinton Yabo.